Hello and welcome to another edition of the People's Rose. I'm Jared.
And I'm Brooke.
We are a married couple that loves to watch and talk about reality TV. And we love that so much we started a podcast. The one you're listening to now, in fact, it's called the People's Rose, where we talk about the shows we watch, which could be Bachelor Nation shows, competitive reality TV shows, Bravo and TLC reality TV shows, online streaming shows. And I know what you're thinking, man, that's so many reality TV shows. In fact, we think the same thing often. Thankfully, this week we don't have as many reality TV shows, but the ones we did watch, we're going to talk about them with you. And I guess you get a chance, the blessing of listening to us talking about it.
Lucky you.
Yeah, but it can get kind of overwhelming, don't you think, watching as much as we watch?
Yeah, and this was like just a busy week for us, so it's probably for the best that we
honestly, thanks.
Dialed back this week.
Truly a blessing.
Yeah.
Right? Thankfully the strikes are ending, and so we were so giddy that we were like, oh, we're gonna get so many reality shows, and now it's just like, oh my gosh, there's so many reality shows. But like I said, the ones that did air and we watched, we are gonna talk about. Unfortunately, we have yet to start the now airing season of F-Boy Island on CW. We're probably going to do a big binge.
Catch up, yeah.
To try to get to the live episodes. If not, we'll just do a big catch up a segment on one on a future pod. And then also we are behind because of, just how busy we work. And we were, and it was work. And then just all the shows we were watching. We are behind on what is it called? Bachelor in Paradise. But when we catch up on that, we'll talk and discuss that again. But what we are currently watching, and we just watched, and are excited to talk about, is our guy Gerry. Our guy Gerry on the Golden Bachelor. I can't. I have lost track of what episode exactly we're on with Gerry's season. But here we are. It's the episode before Hometowns.
I mean, regardless, we're down to 3 after tonight.
Right, exactly.
Which is wild.
This was a pivotal, important episode. I think we should just get right into it. What do you think about it, Brooke?
The episode was, sad. We're right before Hometowns, so we have declarations of love, and emotions are high, feelings are high, and Gerry just had to cut some off.
Yeah, this is he's in trouble just because he's such a sweet, and I say trouble not like he's done anything wrong, but he's such a sweet, intentional, loving guy, and he's just such amazing women that he's got left that he's like and he's built relationships with. It's only going to get harder and harder to cut.
Right. Which we see in the previews that's what's coming.
Right. I gotta admit, before we get started, I think it's been a slow build, but I found myself solidly on Team Ellen this week.
Yeah.
And that was actually coming when she initially started. I was like, what does he see in Ellen? But I guess the more we saw from her, the more I was like, I like Ellen a lot. And I like her and Gerry a lot.
And she was wearing some really cool glasses this episode.
Oh, for sure.
In the beginning. And I was like, hey, Ellen's got style, too.
You're right. She did have cool glasses on. Yeah. I remember those spectacles.
Right?
She's also got an interesting accent that I don't know that I've noticed before. I think it sounded like kind of that maybe Jersey-ish.
Accent. I thought you said asset. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Asset?
This is that kind of pod, right? No, to be very clear, accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also, like I said, Jersey-ish kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Northeast-ish, maybe, whatever that might be. But do you agree? Like, do you have that same slow burn vibe?
Yeah, because in the past episodes, I was like, I don't really get it. I don't really see what it is. And then last week with the pickleball, and this week I was like, oh, she's fun. Okay, I get it. I see it.
You did say that, yeah.
And right when I'm seeing it, Gerry decides to go and cut her.
He cut her. This was Gerry said, I'm getting rid of all blondes. I'm not a blondie.
Yeah, apparently. I just was shocked.
Truly.
I was truly thinking she was going to win. I mean, she got the pretty woman date. where she got the dress made, the nice earrings.
Right.
She got the portrait from him.
Right.
It was all the signs pointing to she's number one. She's the one.
You're right. Oh, man. It's like, now that she's out of it, I actually kind of have no idea who he's going to pick.
I know. I mean, he has, I will say, okay, so we're down to Teresa, Faith, and Leslie, right?
Which, honestly, let's before we do the recap of the episode, let's just talk about these final three women, right? Faith got the first impression rose. Mm-hmm. Then kind of dropped off the radar.
Right.
She didn't like it. She talked to comment about it all season, like, I feel like he's not noticing me, right?
Yeah.
Fair, whatever. Then they have a great date. It's like it's like the big date of the year of the show so far.
Right.
But he said it straight up, like, oh, I felt guilty at first because I thought I was just into her because of how she looked.
Yeah, he did say
that. It wasn't until just now that I noticed, well, he didn't say it like that, but basically that I realized, oh, there's actually a connection that matters that I like about her.
Right.
But I don't know if that means well for her in the long run if it took, bless you.
Thank you.
No problem. If it took this long for him to realize there was a connection, right?
Right.
Then you got Leslie, who he clearly has feelings for, but also there was like, it was a lot of like, oh, I really like your fun side. I guess I'm learning more about your deep side. Mm-hmm. Then there's Teresa, who's of course he's liked since the day one. Mm-hmm. But is it me, or does it just feel like Teresa's not the one for him? Or am I tripping?
I honestly think of the three left, he likes Teresa the most. I think Leslie and Faith, he really is more into like their looks and their like attractiveness.
I do think he likes the like idea of the funness of Leslie. Mm-hmm. But man, I thought him and Ellen were the one. I thought they were in game.
Same.
I was kind of really shocked by that. But I guess let's get into it.
Yeah, so we start out with a really special one-on-one per Jesse, and it's with Faith, and they go on a helicopter ride, and they do the classic fly over the mansion, wave to the girls in the pool.
Right.
Super romantic, and then they land on a yacht.
Right, which Gerry was amped for. They literally landed, and you can't see me, obviously, if you're our listeners, but you can't see me. But he was pumping fist, like, yeah, I'm happy to be here. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was like, it was just another world landing on a yacht, and everyone was talking about how cool it was to have a helicopter land on a yacht, and that be the date. For me, I was like, okay, where else was the helicopter gonna land? They were gonna land on land, and then you swim to the yacht, like. Okay, it landed on a yacht. All right, cool.
Okay. Like as if you will ever in your life land on a yacht in a helicopter.
Right. I hear, yes, but like that's not, I don't know if that would be that cool to me. Like, okay, I flew in a helicopter and landed on a yacht. What's different than I rode on a subway and then got off at my stop? I don't know. I don't know.
God.
This is the people's rose. I'm a man of the people. You know what I'm saying?
Man of the people. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not the whatever rose. Okay, so continue. What happened when they landed on the yacht?
Well, you'll have to take over because I think this is when I went to go bathe.
No, I think we were both there because we were talking about. She was discussing how like he was telling all the qualities about her. One thing that stood out is he's like, oh, and I thought, I just noticed you're singing. She's like, oh, I'm not even really a good singer.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, okay, Faith.
And then we're like, oh, okay, all right, humble queen. We love it to see it.
Right.
But then she started talking about how she had a lot of childhood trauma. She was saying, she didn't really go into detail, but she said her life was really different than a lot of people's, and she said she was alone a lot. Didn't she?
And she said that happened as a child. I missed the part where that said that was childhood specific.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I guess it connected deeper. Mm-hmm. He made the point of saying, "Hey, she gets the rose, obviously. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm giving you this rose, and this means like I want to meet your family. This is hometowns. This is a big step." So will you accept this rose? And she, of course, accepted it. Uh-huh. That was that,
Yeah.
No, that it definitely seemed to get closer, But after that date, I didn't walk away going like, "Oh, Faith's the one."
Yeah, I would still at that point be like, he's definitely closer to Ellen.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, see, okay, I thought that, okay. And I'm not saying this from, maybe I am actually. Well, I'm just saying, I thought maybe it was Faith. He saw Faith as all looks. Mm-hmm. Bam, whoa, okay, cool, Faith, right? Mm-hmm. And then Teresa then made that strong emotional attachment. She supported him when he couldn't see in the night, when the producers had him basically driving for his life in the middle of LA traffic, right? And she was that good comfort, right?
Yeah.
You got Leslie, who's somewhere in the middle of that. But I felt maybe Ellen was the best of all worlds. She's fun, supportive. They had an emotional connection.
Yeah.
They laughed together. They had like seemingly romantic chemistry.
Right.
I just really would like to sit Gerry down. And I'm sure it's just like, I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know if it's more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or not as much as he was with the other three.
I almost wonder if he felt pressured to give Faith the rose because they were on a one-on-one. Because it would have been harder to have let her go on a one-on-one versus
No, I don't think so.
ceremony.
Because I think I don't think he has the problem. I don't think he feels pressured to give out pity roses, because when Nancy was like, "I feel like you're not feeling me," he was like, "Yeah, you're right, bye."
Yeah, true. That's
so
true.
That just strikes me as a guy that if after that date he was like, "I don't know if I'm ready to meet this lady's family," he would have said no. And then at the group date, he didn't feel pressure to give a rose. Then he was just like, "Actually, I need more time."
Yeah.
So I think if he needed more time, he would have taken it.
That's true. You're right.
So that's the gist of it. It's only an hour episode. We didn't have too much of that, right? From their date.
Right, yeah. So then we went right into the group date.
No, that's not true. Actually,
my bad.
Before the group date happens, the girls are sitting around pondering what's going to happen on the group date. Literally Susan says, "It'd be so cool, like a yacht ride on the ocean or whatever."
Yeah.
And then, of course, Faith walks back and does the whole, I actually thought it was nice because of how cool I guess it is to land on a yacht in a helicopter. When they're asking her, she's like, you sure you want me to tell y'all?
Yeah, she's like, I don't know.
That's what Kathy was mad at Teresa for.
Yeah.
Like a fair warning. And they're like, tell us. And Ellen was this is the point where Ellen was getting upset. She was like,
yeah.
Like, I don't want to tell her, but just say it. Yeah,
Leslie was eyeing
oh my
her.
gosh, Leslie was.
She was going through it that day.
She you can read her emotions on her face. She does not hide it. That's what I'm trying to say. And so Faith, of course, tells them. Susan's like, "That's what I wanted. That was my dream," but in a joking Susan way.
Right.
We said this during the episode. Susan at this point is just like best friend support. You know what I mean?
Everyone goes to Susan because they know she ain't getting the final
Yeah, she's
rose.
definitely not. But she doesn't seem torn up about it. She's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna be here."
Yeah.
And Sandra's her own person. I don't know what
she is, her own person, and I love it. She is just enjoying her life.
Yeah, there was this hilarious shot of Sandra when Faith and Gerry were flying over the mansion. All the women were in the pool, looking up and waving from like maybe the camera was like 15 feet away, and then Sandra steps like maybe 5 feet in front of 2 feet in front of the camera. Her whole face is covering the screen, and she's just smiling and waving in the sky. I thought that was hilarious and just kind of emblematic of like her kind of stands alone personality.
Doing her own thing, yeah.
Not that she like is odd or doesn't fit in. It's more just like she's her own person.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So that's then they launch into the group date after the women are kind of
you're right
upset about it.
Yeah. So they go to Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah, we've been there. No, humble brag. Actually, no, we haven't. We went to Santa Monica. Wait, well, yeah, we.
Oh, we did go there,
but not we didn't like.
We didn't go to the pier, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. Wait. So he's like, we're gonna act like kids again. So that's what they do.
Most of the women said like, "Oh, he makes me feel like a kid." I've been they all said something similar to that effect. I haven't felt this way. Ellen said 7 years. Someone said they hadn't done these games since they were a kid. Stuff like that.
Sandra was having so much fun. Her hair was all over the place. She was just like bebopping around little Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah.
And then they go on a roller coaster, and Teresa looks like she's fearing for her life. She is like in the front, like barely has her eyes open, can't look, and it's like a baby roller coaster, right? But still, I was thinking, like, when's the last time these people were on a roller coaster? Right. Their bodies are probably going to be so sore.
Yeah, not just on a roller coaster, but a roller coaster with the guy they're dating. You know what I mean? That's like that is such a younger person thing to be with the person you're dating,
right?
At an amusement park. Brooke and I one time, for those in Houston know, at the aquarium there's a huge Ferris wheel that you can just see like from 45 or whatever.
And it's like in the 2 feet away from the highway.
From the highway, man, a little more than 2 feet.
Okay.
I'm
just saying, you're right in the middle of the city.
Right, and so there's this huge, not what I just said what it was. What is it called?
Ferris wheel.
Yeah, Ferris wheel, right? And so we were on a date when we were dating, and then we got on it.
Listen, I got a little spooked, okay?
I don't know.
It was a little wobbly.
When we both got on one side, I think the whole thing tipped over. No,
it honestly felt like we were tipping the scales and we were going to fall out.
The pod we were in. I don't know if I went to the other side or what happened.
Right? I made you go.
That's right. I don't want to accuse you of that if my memory was wrong. So we're sitting on the other side, and I felt like one movement. She was like, "Stop moving." So,
needless to say, it was probably the least romantic date on a Ferris wheel.
And and the cars are zipping by. You got like smoke exhaust fumes in your face.
I'm sorry. We've come a long way.
Yeah.
Have we rode? Oh, what did we ride at Disneyland? That was
the water ride.
Yeah. It's like a little roller coaster. I can't remember what it's called. Probably some Disney people would know. But
and which we're not.
I don't know. Okay.
So, back to the show. Those are the kind of feelings they're trying to elicit. And so we got kind of from the main people in contention. They didn't really show too much of Susan and Sandra. I think everyone watching at this point knows they were out of contention. Yeah. And I think they knew and were okay with it.
Sure.
Which is, that sign of maturity. So Teresa, it starts with Teresa basically gearing up saying, "Oh, I am so ready to let him know I'm falling in love. I'm excited about it."
And she's like, "I haven't told anyone I'm falling in love with them since my husband."
Right.
And I'm like, did you really say those words? I'm falling in love with you?
She said she hasn't said it to her husband. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, is that something she even said to him, right?
Right.
So
I'm sure that, and we've probably said this before, but I'm sure that's a producer thing. Like, I'm sure they're like, "Do you think you're falling in love with him?" And they're like, I'm falling in love with him. Yeah.
You think you're what? I do think I'm falling in love with him. Yeah. And then that last part is what they air. I do think I'm falling in love with him.
Yeah.
Are you really excited? I am really, that kind of stuff. Okay, so for Teresa launches into, she's spending her little one-on-one time on the group date with Gerry. She launches into the whole, "Oh, I'm falling in love with you," and Gary's just like, yeah. And see, this is when I thought, oh wow, this is Teresa's for sure going home. Ellen's going forward, because he was just, they asked him, afterwards he was like, oh, because he doesn't say anything back, just kind of like thanks, and they hug and kiss. And then Teresa, she's all copium. She's like, "Oh, yeah, I said it to him, and I know he couldn't say it, but I could tell just by how he acted that he wanted to say it back, and it'll be so awesome when he can actually say it back." And at the time, the way I saw it, I was like, oh, that's not what happened. Mm-hmm. And then even afterwards, I felt like Gerry, I was like, oh, she's a good, respectable woman, and I have strong feelings for her. Maybe that was the edit, but I was like, I feel like maybe his feelings have changed.
Yeah, well, it seems like with Teresa, things with her have been, the flame has been going out a little bit since she had her drama with.
That's what I thought.
What's her name?
Kathy.
So then it was surprised. I was certain it was going to come down to Teresa and Leslie for who was getting a hometown, but I was mistaken. Right.
So, yeah, after that, we get a little moment with Leslie, And she's, like you said, been torn up all episode. She's torn up with him because she said seeing him go on all these dates. She said cheating in the past happened with her, and that's tough. And he just calmed her and said, "No, I like you, and I wake up laughing and smiling, thinking about you and our time together." And they hugged and kissed, and it was a strong moment for them. I definitely felt like that might have secured. I mean, she is final three now, and at that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, this is final three kind of relationship. So that's just they're continuing to go upward, but I don't know if I see them on the final trajectory. And then we finally get Ellen, and this is when I'm fully team Ellen.
Right.
She's just has her emotions on her sleeve. She's saying, she said to him on the roller coaster after it finished, "I love you." And I can't wait for you to meet my kids, my friends and family, my best friend. She called her best friend by name. And I know that you'll love you and you'll fit right in.
Yeah. And you said this too. When she was telling him what she liked about him, it was like genuine qualities and characteristics about him, not like how he makes her feel.
Right.
And so, yeah, it seemed like she genuinely was really in love with him and really wanted to have a relationship.
There's one thing is for certain. Her feelings for him are not in doubt.
Yeah.
She, like, after that, she grabbed him and kissed him. And maybe we should have seen. I mean, it's not like he recoiled or anything. But,
Right.
And, but even with all that said, she was kind of bracing for impact. All the people were talking about the rose. And she's like, if I don't get the rose tonight, I'm going to be devastated.
Yeah.
She was just like, I can't even look at the rose. I can't even think about not getting the rose tonight because what would that mean? And that. But as we said, Gerry decided not to give out any roses.
Yeah. So Gerry was like, I just can't do it right now. And all the girls were really supportive.
Yeah. Especially Teresa. That's Teresa's move. She put her hand on Gerry. Yes, Gerry. That's a wonderful idea. Great job, Gerry.
Ellen's face to me said, I should be getting that rose tonight. But...
Yeah. I think I saw, and maybe this is what it is about Ellen. Not to say that you're not supportive. You definitely are. You're the most supportive partner I could ever ask for, right? Sometimes I feel like Ellen could say, I feel like with Teresa, Gerry could say, like, I've decided to cut off every woman's leg to see if they can stand on one leg. And Teresa's like, great idea, Gerry. Gerry, that's so wonderful. He's like, I've decided to send you all to Canada and whoever can run back here the quickest on one leg. Teresa, yeah, that's awesome, Gerry. You're so smart. And to me, I don't know, I feel like she kind of gives me fake. And Ellen, I don't know, not to say that I don't respect Teresa, but I like that Ellen is very clear how she feels, good or bad, angry or upset. You know what I mean? I feel like she has confidence being true to herself. Mm-hmm. And maybe so does Terry, but I don't know. So, Gerry, I think like everyone agreed made the right decision, and we jumped straight to the rose ceremony. And Ellen, Sandra, and Susan are eliminated. Shocker.
I mean, Susan and Sandra, not shocking, but True. Ellen, shocking. And he did walk her out, and he really didn't have much to say.
Not really, but she was upset visibly, sure. But she wasn't mean or rude about it. And she was thankful, as she said, for the experience. That it was a great moment in her life.
Right.
So I hope for all three of those women, Ellen, Susan, and Sandra. This isn't the end of their love story. Yeah. I'm sure there's tons of guys back home are like, oh my gosh. I'm sure there's they're the ones that got away for tons of men that are probably hitting them up right now. Hey Ellen, I saw you and I know you were wanting Gerry to pick you, but I'm glad. Yeah. When are you coming over to Jersey Shore? You know what I mean?
The Shore House.
And Sandra, I don't even know. She's got
for sure.
We might see Sandra with like a 23-year-old soon.
Maybe Sandra should be the Golden Bachelorette.
I think Ellen would make a strong case. I think Leslie, if she loses, the producers might want that. Although I think she's a little young. But who knows? Maybe they want a little younger. Who knows what they're looking for? Mm-hmm. I think this show is a very interesting show the other way around. Where it's one woman with a bunch of older guys. We've seen a lot of maturity from these women. Do you think there would be the same levels of? You think they could cast 22-year-old?
I have not even thought about it. Now I'm just like, wow, this is throwing me for a loop.
Right.
Like there's no way that there's 20 Garys out there.
right. Like, which is why is that so like? Why does that seem so apparent to both of us that it's immensely harder to find that many guys?
Yeah.
I almost wondered if it wouldn't be that much dissimilar from just a regular Bachelorette. Where you know how I always talk about the drama on the Bachelorette is way crazier because guy drama barely makes sense.
Right.
Bro, are you serious?
So are you serious? I'm like, wait, so what are older men like?
I don't think anyone knows. I don't know what a group like. Okay, but this is partially how society views this. So this is a lot of stereotypes, a lot of like judgmental type language, right? But if you think of a group of older ladies single looking for love, oh, that's sweet, that's beautiful, and I hope they find it. A bunch of older dudes on the prowl, it doesn't. Even just the way I described that sounds a little differently. And is that wrong? That we see that as wrong? Because maybe there are that many, but just because of the stereotypes, like old creepy dude trying to find love. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. There's someone in my life who has told me before, older men who lose their wives don't stay single for long because they need someone to take care of them.
Yikes.
So I'm wondering first of all, if that's true, and second of all, if that would cause an issue. Like, maybe it really is hard for them to find that many men. Or would be hard. Maybe it would be hard for them to find that many men.
Here's the approach I think that happens. And this is what makes it sad. But they casted this a lot with the women. Maybe they do it with the men. I think, in general, a lot of times we're thinking of men who have been like divorced, and you're thinking like, well, why'd you divorce your wife after 25 years? Like, what'd you do? Kind of thing. We're thinking of men who never got married, like you couldn't find, like no woman would marry you until your 70s, which again, that's wrong for people to think like that. What's wrong with you? Kind of thing. I think they're going to lean heavily for the sympathy. Wife died 6 years ago. That's what they did with Gerry. I think that's what we'd see.
Yeah.
Wow,
interesting.
We're gonna get canceled.
Took a little detour there.
Yeah. We just lost all of our plus 70 listeners who are men. I apologize, guys.
I mean, no disrespect. It's just
truly none. We're just, I do still think it'll be a different show.
Yeah.
Because also the Bachelorette really a lot of times leans into the macho versus
sweet.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to be a macho man at 75?
Oh, hard to say.
Right? Oh gosh. All right, let's move on. that was the episode. That was the latest episode of the Golden Bachelor.
Just think about the guys from BIP being 70.
Right. I can't. I truly can't.
Speaking of BIP, we really have nothing to report because we are very behind.
Yeah, it's like I said at the beginning, we're behind. So instead of going into Bachelor in Paradise, we're going to go to our Brooks Buzz. Brooks likes to watch shows that, that I guess she just has more of a stomach for. A lot of shows I literally can't handle the cringe. But we don't want to leave those shows out, and so we do like to hear from Brooke's perspective on the reality TV world and the news and opinions on the latest. So what do you got for us, Brooke?
So we have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kyle. What's her last name? Kyle. Oh my gosh.
Richards.
So she's been out in the news for a while because everyone thought she was dating that country singer whose name I got wrong the
Morgan
first
Wade,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. And, they were, like, denying the rumors, but then she came out with this, music video that was just too far.
Right.
I mean, and they were like, oh, we were just making fun, leaning into the rumors, but, like, come on.
Right.
Well, then it comes out that her and Mauricio have been separated, but then they kind of came out and were like, no, that's not true. Like, we've had a really hard year, but we're fine. So nobody really truly knows where they stand. However, the new season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is about to come out. So, or it may have already started. I'm not completely sure. So apparently we're going to see that kind of play out in this season. Well, Mauricio, that's her husband, is currently doing Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And he was seen over the weekend out on the town with his partner from Dancing with the Stars, Emma Slater, and they were holding hands. And Kyle was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy was like, how do you feel about the pictures of him holding hands with Emma? And Kyle was like, well, it was hurtful. So, like, dang, like, what is going on between y'all?
Wait, hold on. Why is this dude on the Dancing with the Stars?
Mauricio?
Yeah.
Because he's Kyle's husband.
No, but he's not on the TV show. The bar is definitely on the floor.
Well,
for what it means to be a star on Dancing with the Stars.
Okay,
It's
been like that for years.
Hold on. The husband of a Real Housewife is on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, wait, because this is actually perfect to go. This goes perfectly what I was about to say, is that people are saying this whole charade of are they, aren't they? He's out holding hands, she's hurt, but she's also with this country singer, is because they are trying to, like, promote their shows, because he also has his own reality show on Netflix called, like, Selling Beverly Hills. Because he's a really
buying Beverly
Hills. Because he's a really big real estate agent in Beverly Hills. So, yeah. That's kind of where we're at with that. I think Kyle loves drama. I think she loves...
I mean, that's all it is. They have to promote.
Yeah.
They're not actors. They're not musicians.
I mean, and the fact
they
that
have to
they're
promote their life to get people to care.
And the fact that they're like, oh, watch it. It all plays out on the show. It's like, obviously, you're trying to get people to watch the show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will. I'll gladly watch it and
You're gonna
report
watch
back.
Buying Beverly Hills?
That I'm not gonna watch, but I mean, I'm gonna watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, even though I will go on record and say it's probably my least favorite franchise.
Oh wow, what a sacrifice you're making!
I know, right? But other than that, I think that's all that I have.
Okay. Also, because like I said, I've also been very busy this week. The 60-second segment I have, I couldn't even come up with 60 seconds of content. Not that I couldn't come up with, I just didn't have time to research it. I shouldn't have picked a segment that requires so much additional research.
I feel like you have let the people down for weeks with this sports segment.
No, it's okay. That's the thing. Segments like these, like I said, we're workshopping.
Oh, okay.
We're not at the premiere. I mean, we're going to have a 60 seconds of segment that just, tears the podcasting industry apart.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a segment where the CEO of Spotify says, sir, here's a $500,000 house.
Oh my
with a studio for you to podcast
so
in.
Modest. I thought you were going to say, here's $1 million check for you.
No, because there's still Spotify here we're talking about. They
Got it.
just lowered the rates instead of raising them for their artists and stuff. So, not to say that they're broke, but they definitely, are on paycheck assistance, Spotify. Anyways, let's see. So before we get to the other show that we really love and like to talk about, let's talk a little bit about The Amazing Race. We watched that this week. We love that show. Brooke, what do you think?
I got a little bit of a scare because Corey and his dad, unfortunately, can't remember his name right now.
Right, the dad. I mean, the deaf father and son.
Uh-huh.
The son is not deaf. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, Rob and Corey. So we started out with a roadblock, which we don't always start out with, but they kind of all evened out they were all on the same flight, so then they were all even when they got to, where are they? India.
Jaipur, India, the pink city.
Yes. And so they all started with a roadblock, which of course got them, onto different,
just got them on it. Yeah.
Their own path, basically.
Right.
And Corey could not do it. He came in last place on this roadblock because they had to balance bowls on their head and do a traditional Indian dance, and he could not keep the bowls on his head, and I was stressed. I think it took him like 15 times,
right?
Like 15 tries,
yes,
to get it right. So yeah, and then they were in last place, but they turned it around because they went to the correct detour, which you don't really know which one is correct and not correct, but definitely it was the easier one that they picked.
Right. I don't know. I think they always try to make it a balance even. So I don't know if there's a correct or I don't know if there's a wrong or right detour. I think they try to make it even, depending on your skill set. You know what I mean? But this one ended up being like a lot quicker for the teams that did it.
Yeah. And it was cute. They had to make little puppets and then do a little puppet show.
Yeah, and that other side of the detour, I remember thinking I had to see it happen.
Yeah, we were
to
like,
even
what?
Understand it. Now we might have been sleepy and tired.
Yeah,
but
I still don't even really understand. At least with the puppets, it was like a tradition, an Indian tradition. But what was were the pictures?
Yeah, I think the pictures were done in the mural. The murals were done in a style traditional to like India.
Okay.
So yeah, we definitely, after seeing our shopkeeper team go home, I was like, we can't lose another of our Johnson family favorite team, but we are another one of our favorites. I think this is their second week in a row winning, the Texas team.
Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't get. Remember the soccer girls got one last week.
You're right. But, so they got two, but it wasn't. One barely counted.
Yeah.
Right. But and it's not in a row.
Regardless, they got first this week, which was great. Mm-hmm. And then,
we got this. We learned that the sisters and the brothers, have the same last name to the Franklin siblings. Oh, yeah. They were running together. Those sisters, man, they are arguers. Stop! What are you doing with the needle? Oh my gosh! Why'd you get so close to me?
Honestly, it's time for them to go. But I did laugh out loud when she poked her in the eyebrow with the needle.
I was like, "Are you dreaming?"
Only because that is so something that me and my sisters would do.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. So yeah.
But it's too much. They're struggling too much every leg. This leg, they switched detours and still somehow remained in the race.
Just horrible race running strategy from them.
Horrible.
And then I feel like there's one other team we care about.
The brothers. The Black brothers.
Yeah, I said them with the Franklin siblings.
Oh yeah, the Franklin.
And then the military brothers. They're kind of. I don't know if I care about them, but they're interesting.
I think I do. I think I do like them.
So, but we're actually kind of, the race is whittling itself down.
Yeah. It always goes fast because it's such a fast-paced show.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, are we ready to talk about Big Brother?
Yeah.
Let's do it then. Big Brother. Bump, don't, 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 don't. All right, I'll jump right into this. Why on God's green earth is Felicia backstabbing every single person she's aligned with?
Felicia is playing a horrible game. A horrible game.
She's clearly playing to be the second player. She's never going to be able to convince any jury member that she deserves to win this game unless she's sitting. Not even next to Bowie Jane. Bowie Jane's won HOH twice.
Yeah.
Felicia. And if she says, well, I got rid of Heisem, that's so long ago and nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
See, I mean, the one person who, yes, I've had some ups and downs, but is like truly been on your side the entire game, Sari, you immediately throw under the bus. And she's not even targeting you.
Right.
She's not targeting you. You just are trying to curry favors. So like, oh, Jack, please take me to final 2. So dumb.
And even when Sari came back and was like, after they had like their first falling out, Sari came back and was like, okay, like I'm ready to work with you. Like let's forgive and move on. Like she's already given you a second chance, and then you're gonna do that again.
Yeah, the issue with this season, I think you agree. This is like not been a bad. Well, it's just not hasn't been like, oh, this is so exciting, so action packed, right? Season, I think one of the main issues is the men have been dominating the competitions.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Whether it was Jared or Cameron or Corey, Jag or Matt or Heisem, the women have not really affected the game through competitions, right? And yes, they outnumber Jag and Matt, but instead of them banding together, first of all, they can't because they haven't won a competition, right? But a lot of them that are remaining are satisfied, whether they want to believe it or not, with getting second place.
I mean, you said it best today when you said at this point everyone's playing for second.
Right. You had Blue who went home, whose biggest allies were the 2 biggest compies in the game. I know you could kitty purr Boots down all she wants to. She was never, even if Jag and Matt were on her side, she would never beat any of them. Felicia, who are you beating? Sari has an outside chance, but I think honestly, if we're realistic with ourselves, she really doesn't.
No.
Because she can't win a comp, and her strategy that she had blew up in her face, and now she's just kind of limping to the end.
But she has made it to the end. So I think that she could spin it only if she was sitting next to Felicia or Bowie Jane. But that's just not going to happen because they can't win. Yeah,
she needed to be sitting next to, even Bowie Jane is risky.
Yeah.
Because Bowie Jane did basically the same thing.
Right.
Only she didn't backstab everybody and she won HOH twice.
Yeah, you're right.
And Sari has won money before.
Yeah.
She needed to be sitting next to Blue or Felicia, which are the 2
right.
she was trying to keep. Oh, did I say? Anyways, but Blue is gone. America's gone. Felicia barely wants to work. I don't think Felicia wants to work with Sari.
I think because she knows Sari will beat her. But she needs to wake up and realize everybody left is going to beat her. Can you imagine a Bowie Jane Felicia final 2? I will have to take a serious break from Big Brother. I mean, as in the off season.
Right.
I'll come back for the next season. But like, I'm sorry. And I said it to you earlier. I am so bored and over this season. It's not fun when the same people win every time. And it's not fun when people act like they're these great, awesome players when they have done nothing. Blue did it on her way out. In her interview, she was like, of course he wanted to get me out. I'm a great player, whatever she said. She had this whole act, she did her whole little persona thing. I think even Julie was kind of like, Blue, let's just get, can we just for a second stop with the persona, the kitty purr, and just be you?
She was like, Julie was like, okay, Blue, do you have anything left to say?
Right.
And Blue was like, I asked you, what do you think of my outfit?
Right.
And that's when I was like, this might be the worst exit interview I've maybe ever seen.
Yeah.
It's definitely bottom 10. Blue Blue did literally everything wrong in the game. Now, you can't really say that because she made it to Final 6 or whatever. But any opportunity that she had to advance her game, she made the wrong move.
Yeah.
She was one of the picks at the beginning of the season. I said, oh, she's a market strategist. And I saw the word strategist, right? So I assumed maybe no. She was just about creating the Blue Kim persona on national TV. Which is okay. It's not okay. It's not what I want from the show, but I don't think she... Whatever. I don't want to talk about.
Also, what kind of strategist is it? Because if she's a social media strategist, then that's what she does, is make things look good and appear to be one way. You see what I'm saying? Well, then I don't see how that would really help in this game.
Yeah.
But unless maybe because you're trying to convince people, but you're not, it's not working. Derek and Cody said it good on their podcast too, and they were like, I'm just tired of seeing people who are just here to promote themselves with their influencing thing. They're not here to play the game. And that was definitely Blue. Yeah.
So... we could really talk. We could really, really get into this. They had a casting problem before where it was like people they were casting led to the same types of people winning over and over. And we got really mad at, everyone got fed up with that, rightfully so. There's more casting that needs to be fixed, problems that need to change. You can't cast influencers.
Right.
And if they're going to be an influencer, they have to be a super fan.
Yeah.
Stop casting people who have never heard of the show.
Right.
And would join any reality show if it meant that more followers saw them. Exactly. They're casting people who are like, oh, I would like to be on national TV. And I get you're going to have a few of those, but stop casting Blue Kims.
Right.
Stop casting, honestly, stop casting Boy Janes. It's at some points it's fun to have someone who doesn't know the game and almost actively not refuses to play the game.
But that would be somebody like Sam.
That's what I'm saying. Sam,
yeah,
Bowie Jane, they ended up getting this far in the game and then they're not really doing anything.
I wouldn't say Bowie Jane. I think Bowie Jane definitely wanted to promote herself. But Sam, a welder in wherever she wasn't wanting to promote herself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to say, but Bowie's not playing. I don't care about promoting her or whatever. Bowie's not playing the game.
Yeah, okay.
She's just do whatever Matt and Jag says, and then oh my gosh. So we there's things that needs to change. Yeah. Cast people who want to play the game. Yeah. It's okay if they have tons of followers. But if they're only doing it to go out and start shilling Instagram ads or whatever, or start a Patreon, or start a podcast about reality TV with their spouse, those people you can cast.
Hey, actually, we liked it before we started this.
Yeah, I just Big Brother to me. Listen, CBS, someone send this to the CBS casting director.
Send it.
Robin Cass is her name. Listen, Robin.
This is for you.
And Robin, I know you cast Canada. I know that you know how to cast the show, right? And I know that your job isn't actually you don't work as make Big Brother better. You cast who the American Big Brother producers tell you to cast, right? I get that. They get final say. You have a mandate, right? But do not listen to them. Stop listening to them. They don't know what makes their show right.
Be your own person, Robin.
Right. It's have you seen Indian Matchmaker? Auntie Seema, the person could ask for tall, light skin, with a full head of hair, and Seema does not care. She will give them 5'6", bald, dark, you know what I mean?
Right.
And say, listen, no, you need this.
Right.
And stop being so picky.
Right.
Right? Robin, walk into those Paramount Studios, walk into CBS, walk up to, I forgot her name. I forgot the lady that runs Big Brother, and say, no, you don't know what you need. We know what you need. Cast the right people, and let's turn the show around, right?
It's like one of those things where it's the people at the top are making the decisions for the workers, the people who are actually out there doing the work, and they have no idea.
Right. So it's just, this season has definitely been kind of a deflating balloon. Mm-hmm. There were moments where like, okay.
It was promising. Okay. It was really, the Jared Cirie of it all was very promising.
Right. And then like, I know they can't control the order of how things go, but you made some ones that even surprised me. Izzy, one of the best casting decisions
Izzy
of all
was
time.
Great.
Felicia, I don't like her, but you cannot deny that she's like entertaining and a character, right? Mm-hmm. You've got a Survivor strategist, so you brought in Survivor's friend and a series of strategists, you know, and that hasn't worked out. But you know what I mean? You had the family twist. Those are good kinds of twists. Yeah, they're like, they add things, but I wouldn't say it's totally unfair. You know what I mean? And
Corey in America?
Corey, who had a good showman's.
No one saw it coming except for me. I called it from the beginning.
But here's also the people you get rid of. If Blue Kim is talking like this in an audition, and then you say like, okay, we're gonna do a test diary room, and she goes, kitty, kitty, purr boots, cut. If Red is talking like this in his audition, oh yeah, I'd really like to get on the show. And then you say, okay, let's do a practice diary room. Like, yay, howdy, I'm just a chill Billy. Cut. Do not cast him. That girl last year, Jasmine, if she's talking like this in the audition, oh, I want to be on the brother. And you turn on the diary room, it's like, well, call me a hog tie, and this is going to be a double sweet tie. Get rid of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know what we need? You know who had the best authentic diary rooms? Brittany Haynes.
Well, Brittany Haynes, yes, but there's only one Brittany Haynes.
Yeah, yes, but what I'm saying is like, she was just truly herself in the diary room, and it worked.
You know who's like that though? She'll never be this iconic. But I got him from America. I got those vibes.
Yes, agreed. And America was funny.
She was funny.
Her goodbye speeches, funny.
She was funny. She didn't pull punches.
Yeah.
That's what we want on Big Brother.
And she kind of played herself because she did make it known.
But that's okay.
If she would have won, if she could have won some competitions, it would have been fabulous.
Right. That's okay, because even with Brittany, she got played by the
Brigade.
But the Brigade. But that's an iconic moment.
Yeah.
Because of how genuine she was. Mm-hmm. Blue realized she got paid like 17 times this season. Yeah. Her alliance member was like, hey, actually, we're playing you. And Blue, I have no idea how she got up there and said, this is actually perfect for me. I'm a little mad that Jag lied to my face and is sending me home. Right. But that's awesome. Kitty, you know, it's like, that's not what we want.
Because then even when she was interviewing with Julie was like, so were you going after them? And she's like, yeah, of course. And then Julie was like, so who were you working with? And she's like, oh, Jag and Matt. And it's like, Blue, what is it? Like, you don't even know left from right in this house.
Yeah. And then, so this is just to recap. More Izzy's, more Felicia's, more America's. And you know what? I have never been a huge fan of the nerdy, awkward, white boy that they cast. I mean, I don't make these cast stereotypes. They do. The Steves, the Ians.
Oh, the
But
Corys,
this Corey one worked out.
Yeah.
This Corey's the right one to cast. More Corys, less Steves. Even though I actually like Ian. But I just feel like the way they cast those guys are so, like, less, I don't know. I want more genuine chaos.
Same.
You get what I mean?
Same.
And
even
strategy.
Rachel Riley.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Rachel Riley was crazy, but she came to play.
Exactly.
She wanted to be there, right?
Exactly.
And that's what, like, we saw fights, we saw genuine anger, we saw joy and excitement when they won something because they wanted to be there. It wasn't, oh, if I lose, I hate $75,000 is a lot of money, but that's okay. Second place deserves prize money. Or like, oh, if I get fifth, I'm gonna have 50,000 more followers on that, and that alone will give me ads that I want, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe they need a golden Big Brother, right? Where you get a bunch of 50 and 40-year-olds, who have watched the show their whole lives and are into it, right?
Right.
Or maybe you need
just a full season of Chicken Georges.
Right. All right. And they tried to have all-stars with former players who they knew would play, but that was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
So that's not the answer. It's just let Robin cook and get the people that we need. Because I've liked the Big Brother Canada casting, and she does both.
And now I'm sitting here thinking maybe after this we need to watch another season of Canada for a breath of fresh.
I 100% agree. I heard that season that we have yet to see. I heard it was a great season.
Okay, then that's
with the
what we gotta
all-time
do.
Great final couple of weeks of episodes.
Okay, then we've got to do it.
So there's no point in recapping because honestly,
nothing happened.
Jag won the HOH. He won the veto. He won the blue to go home. That's what happened.
And then even but we can comment on the double eviction because that was kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that Bowie Jane won, which what in the world even is that? It was obvious she was going to do whatever Matt and Jag wanted.
Right.
She put up America and Felicia, and then America, of course, went home.
Because Matt won. And I don't have a problem with Matt. I actually don't have a problem with Jag. I don't think a person who got sent home unanimously should win the game. But he's building a super strong case on why that should be so.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But Matt wins, of course. And they're final five. This was a crazy moment. Matt, Jag, of course they should be celebrating because this is the scenario they want.
Right.
They both get to play in the HOH and they have to beat out Bowie, Jane, Felicia, and Cirie. Just give it to them now.
Just give it to them.
Like, why even do the comp? Just give them.
Well, Bowie Jane won't get to play, will she?
Oh, you're right. So it's literally Matt and Jag versus Cirie and Felicia.
Yeah,
Just give them the game.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
unless they play a game to like name members of Cirie's family, even then she might lose.
Right.
So it's just crazy. Like theirs should be celebrating, but seeing Bowie, Jane, and Felicia all like, yeah, woo, and it's like, no, y'all, what are y'all doing?
Right.
And even Cirie, she celebrated a little bit, but you could see the wheels are already turning. Like, now how on God's green earth am I going to get rid of Jag now?
Right.
She lost her only two chances, and they were slim.
Yeah.
So the one thing I do want to make sure we talk about, and producers, I've been talking to Robin a lot. I'm gonna turn this to you. Good job. I'm gonna clap softly so we don't peak. But great job, producers. This is something very few reality shows do. It's something, in fact, I'm clipping this. We're not video recording this, but I want this to get out there. Producers, listen to me. Rewinding and bringing the receipts on a lie or the truth, determining whether that was showed, is exactly what we want.
Yes.
Don't give me filler segments of people farting anymore.
No.
Don't give me filler segments. You know what I mean? Of the little games they play in the house.
Yeah, no.
Interrogate whether or not someone is lying and rewind and show the receipts. We actually got the VHS rewind effects. And it's like, finally.
Right.
Who was in the edit bay for this episode? Give them an Emmy. Put them in charge of the rest of the show. Because that's what we want.
Yes.
When I watch Real Housewives with Brooke, I am begging them. When they're arguing about something, I was like, I wish a producer would just cut to what really happened. And they do. They do. And when they don't, it's like, well, why didn't we, right? Love is Blind, it was a huge moment when they, after the credits wrap, they cut to
the cutie incident.
Right. And you're like, that's what reality TV needs, right?
Yep.
So we need... And like Amazing Race would be like, wait, what happened? Who dropped that? And then they'll cut back to Jared leaving the passport on the ground while he was playing Super Auto Pets, right? And that's why Brooke deserves to be mad. Big Brother, it is taking you, I'm not even mad that it's taking you 25 seasons to do something like this, but it should happen every episode.
Yeah, agreed.
We should have the receipts. And yes, I know there's live feeds, but we should have clear receipts on stuff like that.
We can't all see the live feeds. Nobody can see the live feeds 24/7. We just can't.
I don't know. You should look at the Reddit people. There's some people they make it their job And Taron Armstrong, obviously, it's literally
Oh,
his
I guess
job.
they sleep when the house guests sleep.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
Taron Armstrong, it's literally his job to watch the live
that's
feeds.
amazing. Actually, maybe I want that job.
So that was it. There's not that many people left, so who are you rooting for? I will just say that. Who do you want to win?
Oh, my gosh. Of the people left, I do think Jag should win. I think he should win. I know it throws you off because he was evicted, but I think the fact that he was evicted, made his way back in, or at least got Matt to save him for whatever reason. Matt saved him, and then now he's winning. Like, I just think that he deserves to win.
I think he should win. But what I don't like is when this show feels like the challenge and it just comes down to, I won a bunch of comps, give me money. Like, that's not what makes Big Brother the best.
True.
It's when we see, like...
But I think he's had a good social game, too. I think everyone likes him.
No.
No?
If Corey doesn't wake up halfway through the season, Jag is still cooked and still in the dark, right? Siri, Izzy, and Felicia had him in a blender. He didn't know what was going on in the house. It was Corey in America who woke up.
Oh,
right?
You're right. Good call.
And then he gets them out. So it was strategic to get them out. But I mean, what was your other choice at this point, right? Yeah. You had to get them out.
That is true. I'm almost thinking, like, does Jag really know what he's done? Like, I can't imagine him actually being good at, like, the final, like, when the final two, like, answering the questions with good answers.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, even, like, think about this. And this is why everyone's like, well, of course Jag wins, but it's just kind of by default.
Yeah.
When there were other comp beasts, he couldn't beat Cameron. He couldn't beat Heisem.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat Jared. He always came in second, right?
True.
And he's not the reason those people got out. It's other people. It's Corey. It's Felicia. It's Sari, you know what I mean?
True.
It wasn't until all those people were, gone and it was a wasteland left that he had the opportunity. When he had to play and it was just strategy, he was getting cooked. And in fact, he was eliminated unanimously. It just so happened to have a power where his friend saved him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, yes, I'm like, don't give it to Boy Jane. Don't give it to Felicia. I wanted to go to Sheree, but I'm not sure she deserves it anymore at this point.
Yeah.
So I say Jag, but at this point, whoever gets out Jag, which is likely to be Matt, should win the game. If somehow Bowie Jane does it, fine, whatever. Give it to Bowie Jane. If somehow Sari or Felicia does it, I think you have to give it to one of them, right?
Yeah.
But all of these five, yes, I think Jag default sure is the best player left, quote unquote, but it's like, that's because everyone else tore their ACL and he was the last man standing on the field.
Wow.
Are you rooting for...
That's a good read.
Are you rooting for Jag as well, or not really?
But let me say this. So then what do you think Matt... Because you are saying all these other people who have now left are the ones that made the big moves that got Jag to where he is. So what's your stance on Matt? Does Matt deserve to win?
Well, Matt's the one who saved Jag. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Matt has a great alliance. Jag only has Matt. Matt has a great alliance with Felicia. He has a great alliance with Jag. He's in good with Bowie Jane. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Felicia doesn't care for him, but whatever. He was good with Riley. Matt has a better social game than Jag, I feel like. He's got better contingencies. Like, think about it. None of the women are like, oh, we have to get out Matt. It's all like, oh, we have to get out Jag.
True.
It's just Felicia who wants to team up with Jag.
True.
So I think but that's not, I don't think he's played a winning game. Mm-hmm. If he wins by default though, if Jag is still there. I mean, if Jag isn't there.
Yeah.
So that's, to be honest, I think you can go back a couple weeks and I don't think anyone's deserved to win. Blue doesn't. America, if she had won comps here at the end and gone on a little run, she might. But
Corey, I think.
Corey was. I didn't want him to win at one point, but he was playing a game where I was like, well, he's the last one I feel who's thought about how to win. But whatever, man. I think that's it.
What about you at this point? Who are you going for? Rooting for?
I'm still rooting for Sari.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I just, I want, yeah, I'm just rooting for Suri. I think Felicia's played the worst game. So Felicia literally has targeted every single. Felicia targeted Heisem.
Yeah.
She targeted Bowie Jane. She targeted Suri. She targeted Izzy. She targeted Red. She targeted Cameron. And every single one of those people were in her alliance at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
So and now she's satisfied with going with Jag and Matt, who would 100% beat her. Yep. So if her goal is to be $75,000 richer, she's doing a great job of that, but not to win the game. Okay. Any other words before we end this 22nd episode of the People's Rose?
I think that's it.
I saw a stat online that some crazy number. I don't remember the exact number. Like 90% of podcasts don't produce more than 22 episodes or something, right? And only like 10,000 or so podcasts ever have more than 22 episodes. So we are about to break the seal. We're about to cross the threshold.
Let's cross the threshold.
Okay. All right, but thanks for listening to us. Please rate and review us on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Please subscribe to our social media accounts, which will become active again. Same with YouTube, Lord willing. And we hope you have a blessed week. All right, bye.
Bye.